140 करोड़ भारतीयों की इच्छा शक्ति अब आतंक के आकाओं की कमर तोड़ कर रहेगी।
Post Pahalgam, India has started preparing for a fitting response, perhaps and hopefully to wreak a disproportionate damage that acts as a deterrent for any future misadventures by Pakistan. As of April 26, we do not know if this means going into a full war for a few days or a long-term war of attrition. In either case, it does mean that India up its game with respect to industrialization, especially defense equipment, ammunition and deep tech manufacturing. Let us therefore talk about how India can accelerate its industrial development by learning from countries that have transformed their economies during times of war, and also how India's own defense innovations like the ones from DRDO or its startup ecosystem can become the engine for this transformation. So stay tuned as we explore the powerful lessons from history, spotlight the latest defense breakthroughs, and outline a roadmap for scaling up innovation and self-reliance. Throughout history, war and geopolitical rivalry have forced nations to innovate and industrialize at breakneck speeds. During World War II, United States converted their car factories into factories that produce tanks and planes, creating millions of jobs and laying the foundation for decades of economic growth. Japan, after World War II, rebuilt its shattered economy by targeting key sectors like steel, electronics, and automobiles using government coordination, technology adoption, and export orientation. How was this done? The first thing is strategic vision. Clear national goals and strong government-industry coordination, like the ones set by Japan and their post-war industrial policy, or DARPA by US, who came up with breakthroughs like internet and GPS. Secondly, R&D investments. Massive funding for research and technology, often with dual military and civilian applications. Policy support, incentives and protection for nascent industries and streamlined procurement. Fourth, rapid workforce upskilling, training millions for new high-tech jobs. And finally, conversion for civilian use case. After wars, military innovations were adapted for consumer markets, fueling long-term prosperity. India is at similar crossroads. With escalating threats from Pakistan and China, our defense sector is not just innovating for securing our borders, but to build a globally competitive industrial base. Let's look at DRDO's recent innovations. Drone detection and tracking systems. Advanced electro-optical systems to spot and neutralize rogue drones. Integrating AI, thermographic cameras, and radar for comprehensive airspace security. Aerial delivery systems like CADS 500, GPS and NAVIC guided parachutes that deliver heavy payloads with pinpoint accuracy, vital for military logistics and disaster relief. Ballistic missile defense. Indigenous missile interceptors and advanced electronic warfare systems earning international recognition. From hypersonic propulsion to cybersecurity and smart textiles, DRDO is collaborating with top institutes to create innovations that can benefit both defense and civilian sectors. Let's also look at how startups are becoming the new powerhouse in the defense sector. Over 1,000 defense tech startups are building everything from AI-powered battlefield management to high-altitude surveillance drones, robotics, and electronic warfare systems. Startups like Aiden Technologies are developing world-class anti-drone systems, while others are pioneering underwater unmanned vehicles and indigenous simulation toolkits for pilot training. So, how can India turn these innovations into engines for industrial development, even during prolonged conflict? It starts with fostering an innovation ecosystem. Encourage deep partnership among DRDO, startups, MSMEs, academia, and established industry. This accelerates prototyping, testing, and commercialization. To start with, look at open access and mentorship initiatives and the Technology Development Fund by DRDO. Bellatrix Aerospace, Combat Robotics are startups that have leveraged DRDO funds and mentorship. Technology transfer to MSMEs and competitions like Dare to Dream have encouraged startups like KaiStats. Secondly, policy support and deregulation. Streamline procurement, offer grants and incentives, and reduce bureaucratic hurdles so startups can focus on innovations and not paperwork. Then, India needs to invest in dual-use technologies. Like the US and Japan, India must ensure military R&D finds civilian applications, like think drones for agriculture, AI for logistics, advanced materials for infrastructure. Then, we look at technology transfer. DRDO's model of licensing technology to Indian industry should enable mass production and export, lowering entry barriers for MSMEs and create jobs. We also need to look at building supply chain resilience through indigenization, reducing import dependency by nurturing local suppliers and manufacturing critical components domestically. Then we focus on exports. Leverage India's rising defense exports up from 2,000 crore in 2015-16 to 23,000 crores in 2025, becoming a global player in advanced tech. Then we look at upskilling the workforce and starts with training. Rapidly train engineers, technicians and scientists for new age manufacturing and R&D roles, mirroring the mass upskilling seen in the US and Japan during wartime. And use new DRDO developed simulation kits and AI driven platforms for faster and more effective training. And very importantly, and this chaps my hide a lot, there has been a lot of brain drain from India where the top talent leaves for lack of R&D opportunities or real deep tech work. We need some policy level enablements to attract this NRI talent back to India for lucrative opportunities. There are some very problematic policies across education institutions, for example. NRIs are charged very high school fees. For someone looking to come back to India and work on Indian salaries, this is a major deterrent. Highly skilled resources also demand better quality of life, and there comes urban planning. Industrializing deep tech in India will take a lot more than just incentives. Retaining top talent will need higher funding for R&D within Indian institutes. But India's top billionaires fund more at Harvards than at IITs. Finally, and this may have to do a lot with policies as well as, I think, with mindset, we need to attract more private and venture capital into defense tech, building a robust pipeline for innovation. India's defense innovation surge is more than just a response to external threats. It's a springboard for industrial transformation. By learning from the West and Japan and harnessing our own strengths, India can build a self-reliant, resilient industrial base, create millions of high-tech jobs, lead the world in dual-use technologies, and secure its place as a global innovation powerhouse. But this requires relentless focus, sustained investment in R&D, policy agility and streamlined processes, and a culture of collaboration and risk-taking. The world's great economic powers were forged in the fires of adversity. India now stands at a similar moment. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to like, share and subscribe, for we are trying to build an ecosystem that fosters industrial innovation in India.